Welcome back, future site managers. If you're tuning in to today's explainer, you are getting ready to step into one of the most dynamic, high pressure, and honestly, most rewarding roles in the entire building industry. We're tackling topic 4 today, managing on-site operations. Look, as the person in charge, whether you're the builder, the senior manager, or the main contractor, your calls are literally what dictate if a project thrives or just totally stalls out. So today, we're going to break down exactly how you ensure your site runs like a well-oiled machine. Now, consider this explainer your official tailor-made study tool for the CPCCBC5010 unit right here at Genesis International College. And listen, the knowledge you're picking up here, it isn't just to help you pass an assessment. It has very real-world stakes. Every single time you step onto a site, you're going to be applying these exact principles to keep your stakeholders happy, your workers safe, and your projects profitable. So grab your notes, get dialed in, and let's start building that foundation. So here is our roadmap for today. We've got 5 main pillars to cover. First up, construction methodology basics. Second, balancing safety and costs. Third, understanding contractual obligations. Fourth, managing people and contingencies. And finally, number 5, quality management systems. All right, let's jump right into pillar number 1, construction methodology basics. Okay, let's start with the absolute core definition. When we talk about your construction methodology, what we're really talking about is your master plan. It's the planned method of construction. Essentially, it dictates exactly how the work is going to be completed according to the project plans and specifications. Think of it as your ultimate playbook. It's the daily guide you're going to rely on to make sure every single piece of this massive puzzle fits together perfectly. But as you know, a master plan doesn't just exist in a vacuum. Out in the real world, things pop up. So as the person in charge, your methodology has to proactively address a few critical things. You've got to navigate construction constraints, the actual practical limitations of your specific site. You need to assess relevant risks, basically predicting what might go wrong, while also keeping your eyes peeled for relevant opportunities to add value. And of course, you absolutely have to account for temporary works and services. Anticipating all of this upfront, that's exactly how you prevent roadblocks and keep the whole project moving forward. Moving right along to our second pillar, balancing safety and costs. You might not instantly connect the two, but a safe environment actually goes hand in hand with a cost-effective one. Maintaining cost effectivity requires strict, everyday attention to detail. For starters, you need to properly maintain your physical resources. That means your building materials, your plant, your equipment. You also have to drive the team to complete works on time, and this is a big one. You must report any possible delays or issues promptly so they can be managed way before they snowball into a disaster. Doing all this ensures the project meets your organizational quality management requirements. At the end of the day, taking exceptional care of your resources and your timelines directly protects your bottom line and guarantees you're meeting client expectations. All right, let's shift gears to pillar 3, understanding contractual obligations. Depending on the project you're on, you're going to encounter a few different varieties of contracts. You might be working under residential or commercial agreements, obviously depending on what you're building. You'll definitely be managing subcontractor contracts for specialized trades. And then there are the payment structures. You've got your lump sum contracts, where a fixed price is locked in, versus cost-plus contracts, where the client reimburses your expenses plus a percentage. That second one requires total transparency from you, by the way. Grasping this whole spectrum is absolutely crucial, so you know exactly what your legal obligations are, both to the client and to your crew. And overarching all of those contracts are Work, Health and Safety, or WHS laws. Here in Australia, this legislation heavily dictates your agreements. They ensure that whatever is stipulated in your contract complies completely with risk management, workplace health and safety requirements, and workers' compensation insurance. It just goes to show you that safety isn't just some nice-to-have best practice. It is a rigid, legal and contractual obligation that protects every single person on your site. Up next is Pillar 4, managing people and contingencies. It takes a pretty staggering variety of personnel to pull off a build. Seriously, a modern construction site is packed with people from wildly different backgrounds, all executing highly specialized, intricate tasks. To effectively manage operations, you have to play the conductor and coordinate this entire diverse cast. And to do that, you need absolutely stellar communication processes. That's how you foster teamwork and, more importantly, how you avoid the miscommunications that lead to incredibly costly on-site mistakes. So, to coordinate everyone, you're going to rely on a continuous four-step lifecycle for human resource management. First, you plan out your HR needs. Second, you acquire your project team. Third, you develop that team so they really understand the specific requirements of your site. And fourth, you actively manage them day to day. Just keep in mind, resource allocation is never static. It can be hugely impacted by changing timelines, worker availability, delays, or even other projects your company has going on. You have got to stay agile. And a huge part of staying agile is having contingency plans ready for when things inevitably go sideways. Stuff you typically identify during your pre-project risk assessment. Say, for example, you face a non-delivery of materials. Well, your contingency might be having an alternative building design ready to go or ensuring you've pre-ordered specific items well in advance. Or what if you're dealing with a lack of available workforce? Your backup plan there might involve overseas recruitment or even setting up a site labor camp. Having these pre-planned contingencies in your back pocket is exactly what saves the day and keeps your timelines intact when the unexpected hits. Which brings us to our fifth and final pillar, quality management systems. So here's the reality check. In the real world, things are occasionally going to go wrong, or they'll just fall short of the standard. In the industry, we call these non-conformances. When they happen, they have to be tightly controlled. You must promptly identify, document, evaluate, segregate, and then disposition these failures. Having a really rock-solid control process for non-conformances is what allows you to accurately report on the quality of your operations and maintain those high standards your clients expect. Now, to manage those non-conformances, you're going to rely on two vital actions. First, preventative actions. As the name suggests, these are implemented before non-conformances even happen, sort of anticipating the error. Then you have corrective actions, which are implemented after an issue has been identified in order to fix it. Actually, you don't just pick one. A top-tier site manager actively uses both dynamically. You want to prevent the occurrence in the first place, and if something slips through, you ensure the non-recurrence of that issue. That's how you guarantee the client gets a premium final product. Okay, we've covered the methodology, we've talked about safety, contracts, managing your people, and keeping quality high. But honestly, it all comes down to your leadership on the ground. So I want to leave you with this thought. When the unexpected happens on your site, and trust me, it absolutely will your communication process be strong enough to manage the non-conformance? Challenge yourself to connect everything we've just talked about. Visualize your first day in charge out there and ask yourself how you're going to lead. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time.